better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, ah, I'll have what she's having.
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at Awooga! I'm Paige Wesley.
And I'm your heart beating out of your chest, Todd, which means this week, Paige made us watch
The Mask.
Now, Paige, when was the first time you saw this movie? Do you remember a
Childhood.
time before this movie?
Yeah, I don't really remember a time before this movie. This is also one of my sister's favorite movies of all time.
Still to this day?
Still to this day, yes. Yeah, to the point where my parents bought her a dog for her 16th birthday, and they bought a dog that looked very much like the dog in this movie.
Is it named Milo like the dog in the movie?
No,
Missed opportunity.
it was named Buddy, but my parents, not being dog people before, didn't realize that it was a bad idea to buy a terrier, a purebred rat terrier from a breeder. They had no idea what they were getting into. And that dog was a tiny anxiety goblin for all 14 years of its life.
Yeah, and you can tell Milo in this movie is a rat terrier because the whole time the cop's at the door, he's trying to show the cop where the money is.
Yeah.
He's a real effing rat terrier. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking snitch.
Yeah.
I fucking swear. So then when my sister grew up and moved out on her own, she then, like, Buddy continued to live with my parents. And then my sister adopted, like, a mutt that was, like, part terrier, part something else that legit looks like this dog.
Did she name it Milo?
And she named it Milo.
Hell yeah.
And I think he was like 6 when she got him. And Milo sadly passed away only a few months ago. R.I.P. Milo.
Damn you, gnome! Oh, sorry.
Damn it! But Milo was a great dog.
All dogs are great dogs. That's why all dogs famously go to heaven.
Yeah.
Paige, I loved this movie when I was a kid. Like,
Sure.
I loved it. I can still quote like large sections of it.
Yes.
I haven't revisited it much since like being an adult because like looking back on it, it felt like it was a kid's movie. But watching it tonight, I was like, oh
It is
damn, this
not.
is like definitely for adults. I should not have watched this as a child. But it was like a dark reminder of like the kind of, I'll just say like maybe juvenile humor, like
Yes.
children
Yeah,
humor.
sure.
That like really made me laugh as a kid, and tonight still did.
I had a great
like
time.
I don't know, I just like haven't grown at all comedically since I was 8 apparently, because I still found this movie very funny.
I mean, I'll say that I feel like there were parts that were quotable for me as a child, and there are different parts that are quotable for me as an adult. Because, like, my dad and I watched this maybe a year ago or so, and it was, like, on TV. We didn't, like, pick it. We just sat down halfway into it or whatever.
Yeah, so like his last name was Stanley Ipsmooch.
Exactly.
Because they had to like censor it for TV.
They had to censor it. But the thing that they didn't censor is that one shot when he's in the park and they're pulling all the stuff out of his pockets and they pull out Calloway's wife.
You can't get rid of the best joke in the
of course
the
not.
stop and frisk.
Well, and my dad now every once in a while will just be like, "You married her."
Yeah.
It's just like cracks us up. It's so stupid. The one that I had forgotten, because I don't think I've watched this in its entirety in a single sitting in 20 years.
Same probably.
I feel like I always see this on TV and then just sit down and watch it from wherever it is or whatever. I had forgotten one of my favorites, which is I hope you can enjoy the victory with one friggin' eye.
Yeah.
So good.
You mean in the fight scene where Jim Carrey is beating up Dorian Green and is surprised himself that he's winning? Like he like loses the upper hand literally in battle because he's like, holy shit, am I winning? And then he gets the shit kicked out of him. It's very funny.
It is very funny. And this is a movie from Jim Carrey's like golden age, I think of it. Really?
Yeah, this is like the corridor of the 90s where Jim Carrey was a god, largely on the back of chewing up all the scenery he could find. Like this was not the dramatic acting Jim Carrey where he was like, I love the performance in this, but like, I mean like the subtleties of a good dramatic performance. Like he's not doing that in this movie. He of course can do that. We've seen that many times since this.
Sure.
But man, this era is like Ace Ventura, this movie, it's like overacting central.
It is.
Which is why I love it.
But it's an era where comedy was king, box office wise.
This made money in the box office.
Money.
Yeah.
And like, it is fascinating to me because I obviously was a young woman when this came out. Almost every other woman who is a comedian that I know in my circles either had a crush on Jim Carrey or Adam Sandler from this time. And like, it's extra weird that we have all now met them as adults. But like, if you throw a rock in a comedy club, you'll hit a girl who was like thirsting for Jim Carrey. Not me, but like, I think I had other shit going with being a spooky kid.
Natalie admitted to me that she thought Jim Carrey was hot.
Sure.
When she was younger. And I was like, what do you mean when you were younger? Like, let's be honest with each other right now. Like, he's still kind of hot. Like, he's still doing this, like, gray face, like, salt and peppery, like, art genius guy, which, like, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't care. But, like, the lane's working for his aesthetic. I don't think I'd like hanging out with him today, though, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Let me put it to you this way. I've only met him once. It was very brief and not long enough to get a true gauge of what he is like.
Yeah, like a in passing kind of a thing.
In passing, right?
Yeah.
I've talked to many other people who have met him and spent time with him, and they're like, yeah, he's kind of a weird dude, but like, nice enough, I guess. And that's generally what I hear from people.
I mean, I've heard worse things about other people that do similar jobs. So, like,
correct.
If the worst thing you can say is, yeah, he's kind of nice, but a little weird, I'd be like, a little weird. Yeah, I've seen his early work. Like, I buy that for sure.
Yeah. He's into like noise music and shit. Like,
Paige, all music is noise. That's like a prerequisite for it to be music. Yeah.
But I mean, like, the art of noise. Have you ever heard the art of noise? My dad got really into art of noise in the 90s at one point.
I don't have time for Norwegian musicians named Art. I'm assuming his last name is of noise. Anyway, no, of course I haven't.
Can I tell you what art of noise is?
Wait, is it stomp? Because if it's stomp, yes, I'm here for it, because at least that's in a meter to a beat. My fear is that this is just like, I don't know, car horns and people hitting brake drums with hammers and then people screaming at weird times.
Okay, so it comes in two varieties. Art of Noise is a specific band, but some people get really into it where it's just noise experimentation, which is what you just described. My dad got really into Art of Noise, which is where they take like Foley sounds, like a doorknob or a fridge opening or like a clicking of a car thing or whatever. And then they set it so that it does create a meter and a melody.
Okay, that I might be kind of into if it like plays actual music.
Yeah.
But if it's just like jazz, like the jazz version of that, I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I've heard haunted house ambiance tracks before.
Ooh.
I don't need that, right?
No, this is more like end of 80s new wave, 90s techno kind of, where like the one that I remember I think is called Seasons of Love. I think that's wrong, but it's like doom 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 doom, and it's like PVC pipe and shit. Like, you might actually really dig it now that I'm thinking about it.
Paige, it sounds like you're just explaining to me the album from Devo we never got, and I would check that out for sure.
My dad is a huge Devo fan, so
really?
This tracks.
Does he ever listen to the lyrics?
Yeah, of course. I love it.
Devo was talking about some shit way before a lot of people were.
Bruh.
And I was not expecting that when I watched that documentary about Devo. That kind of turned me into a fan, even though I hadn't been till this point in my life.
I was watching that documentary because we grew up listening to Devo, like, forever.
Yeah, right? Because you're in the Bay.
Yeah. My dad and my uncle go to see Devo every time they tour. They have the hats, the whole thing, right? Like, hardcore Devo people.
Yeah, I've been to Legoland. I get it.
Right? Exactly. And then I watched that documentary, and at one point I texted my dad. I was like, was every member at Devo at Kent State during the massacre? And my dad was like, yeah, that's like why they got their name. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
How was this part of Devo never communicated to us as children? And it's because that's tough to explain to children, I think.
It's because they wrote one song that the population of America wanted to like lean into and not listen to anything else that contained all the other messaging stuff. Anyway, check out that documentary. It was pretty great.
But now I'm listening to everything else and fucking loving it.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, Devo was like ahead of their time. Anyway, Paige, to refocus us back on this movie.
Correct.
How long would it have taken you to put the mask on? Like, serious question. I mean, obviously, like, think about it from the perspective of the movie. Like, you fish it out of the river and, like, you don't know it has power yet. But how long would it take you to put it on?
Real answer, and this is an actual real answer. I could absolutely see myself never putting it on and putting it on a wall.
Yeah, right? I mean, honestly, like, it is a cool looking mask. And if you're like, have a mask wall, it would fit it. Like, if you're Ben Stein in this movie, you'd be like, I have the perfect place for this.
Yeah. My sister loves a gallery wall and has like a paper mache fucked up mask looking thing on one or many of her walls.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see myself just putting it on a wall.
Yeah, that was the artist Loke, I think. I might be saying that wrong. But I would, like, the cop who rolled up on him would have seen me do the transformation. Because I'd have been like, it's my mask. See? And I would have, like, put it on immediately. You know, like, to, like, pretend, like, to mime, it's my mask. I wear this mask. Which is arguably, even without the transition to, like, the mask, would still be very weird to come across.
Yes, that's what I was thinking this time. There are many things watching this as an adult. I'm like, as a kid, I did not even think of how strange this would be even in the world of the movie.
Yeah.
But even when he's like, I'm just looking for my mask, I found it. No one looks for a mask in the water. You're definitely hiding a body. Like, that guy would be in jail for the night.
Yeah.
100 for trespassing. 100%.
Or they would assume he's, like, on something or drunk or, like, whatever.
Right. Or tried to jump off the bridge and is bad at gauging heights. You know, like.
Yeah. I do think it's wild that after the first night Cameron Diaz meets the mask, where they do have, like, decent chemistry, they dance quite a bit, they kiss, like, she seems kind of into the green guy, but the next time she meets him at the park, she's not into it. And I have to assume that's because he shows up as a French dude. And that made me laugh a lot thinking about that tonight. I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah, she doesn't like him because he's like Pepe Le Pew.
He's like, oh, he's French.
Yeah.
No, I do think that is supposed to be Pepe Le Pew. And
I think so too, yeah.
I feel like in watching this as a kid, I was like, oh, it's all cartoons. In watching it as an adult, it's not just cartoons, it's pop culture.
Yes.
But it's Animaniacs, basically.
Shit, it is the energy of Animaniacs. That is a very good analogy.
The mask is sexy Animaniacs. In this TED Talk, I will outline.
Yeah.
I have a dark thinking about Cameron Diaz and that she is more attracted to the green guy because safety feels boring and she should talk to someone professional about that.
At the end of this movie, she throws the mask into the river.
True.
So, like, I think maybe at the beginning of this movie, yes, Paige, she is attracted to Dorian Green. But, like, by the end of this movie, she's into Stanley Ipkiss the way he is without the mask, which I don't think that that's going to last very long. But, like, at the end of the movie, that's where she is.
No, he's a comedian. Don't date comedians.
I mean, maybe that's probably good advice, but I really wish my wife hadn't heard it and or had to edit this part of the podcast. But
in general, don't date comedians. As a rule. We're funny because we're broken.
Yeah, we are like sad, anxious people as the people. Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. So many crazy things happen in this movie, though. Like, Jim Carrey is, of course, like he robs a bank.
Yes.
But he looks, while doing it, like a fight in print format. You know, like it's like a cartoon strip fight because he's like spinning like the Tasmanian devil. Cameron Diaz can sing. That's crazy. Oh, and for some reason, Peggy, the journalist, just has keys to where they print the newspapers. I was like, they're not going to let some columnist who's like trying to break into being what she calls a, quote, actual journalist. They're not going to give you keys and like the alarm code to the printer. Like, that's insane.
Well, okay. They would absolutely not. Those are very different jobs, and they're probably not even in the same city.
I mean, they might be in like the same city, but one's like a warehouse by the docks, and one's probably an office downtown. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. I will say part of the reason for a lot of the visuals and the stylistic inspiration in this is because this was a comic book.
Yeah, it was a dark horse. I did not realize that until I watched it this time. I was like, damn. Oh, shit, Paige. I just had a realization about what we're doing next week because that is also the first comic book movie.
Yes, technically.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to put a pin in that until the end when we announce what that is. But holy shit, I'm looking forward to that. My brain just stopped. But yeah, I didn't realize that this was a Dark Horse comic until this time watching it. And I was like, oh my God, is this like a comic book movie?
Yes.
They made this before Iron Man?
Yes.
Like, what? Anyway, but yeah, they did. They made this before Iron Man, guys.
Well, and if memory serves, the comics are a lot darker. I haven't read a bunch of them, but like, I think they thought it would be a good fit for Jim Carrey because of the way he acts, the way he chews scenery, and a lot of that is part of the character in the comics. But I feel like this movie, because I was thinking about this just in the story and character sense this time. He is a criminal. Like, he does rob a bank. He does kill multiple people
Yes.
in this film. And those are all things that, yes, I think are also happening in the comics, but probably a lot more explicitly of like, hey, this is a funny kind of bombastic character, but he is dangerous and he does kill people. And so
I mean, they essentially set up a moment in this movie where he like thwarts the bad guys robbing the bank by robbing the bank himself,
Right.
thereby making him just as bad as the bad guys in the
Yes,
movie.
yes.
But like, you are kind of left feeling like, well, at least he stopped the bank robbery. And then you're like, oh wait, no, it's just like in his
No,
closet.
he did the bank robbery.
Yes. Yeah. This movie also has something from the 90s that like fell super out of fashion. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, Todd, we saw the lip liner like her makeup artist basically invented drop shadow, but
Bring it back.
it's not that, Paige. That's not what I'm saying fell out of fashion, although debatable.
It didn't. Bring it back.
I'm talking about straight up henchman hair.
Yes.
One of them has long hair that starts where my headphones start, halfway back on my head.
Right.
Like it starts way back. He has a 12 head.
Yeah.
And then hair. The other guy has a, I don't know, belt length rat tail braid.
Yeah.
And everything else is bald.
Yeah, it's a cue.
It's awesome. We need to bring back henchman hair. Like if the Antinius from the new like Odyssey showed up with like the 2-foot bald rat tail braid, I would lose my mind, especially because it's Robert Pattinson in the upcoming movie.
Oh my God.
And that would make me laugh a lot.
I bet that dude has a weird shaped head. I just know it in my soul.
I mean, they were into phrenology around the time of Antinius, so they might have some indication of what his head looked like.
Who knows?
Or do you mean Robert Pattinson?
I meant Robert Pattinson, but yeah, sure. I feel like it's not just the henchman hair, it's the henchman vibe where like, cause even the doctor character where he's got the like small sunglasses and the strategic facial hair.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes, like bring this back, bring 90s henchmen back.
Yeah. It's like, what is the most like show don't tell we can put on your face and body to make it seem like you're a bad guy, but not quite the main bad guy?
Right.
And they really layer that on. It's kind of great.
Well, and in this period of the 90s, they were still very stylized. So they're like in suits or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because literally only 5 years later, henchmen would just start to look like people who were standing in the background of the Matrix. And like this one, they've got more style. They got big shoulder pads and pinstripes.
I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Jim Carrey invents ska music in this movie. So yeah, they're all wearing like zoot suits more or less.
He doesn't invent it, but sure.
I know, I'm joking, Paige. He didn't invent
Yes.
ska. That was probably Big Bad Voodoo Daddies, or I don't care, whoever it was, some ska historian or ska-storian, if you will, can correct me in the comments.
We have not walked a mile in your checkered vans, so we cannot speak to this.
Somebody hand me my trombone case. But they're all wearing zoot suits. That's all I'm saying. Because the movie's vibe,
Yes.
even though it is like supposed to be 1990s LA, Vermont, New York. Like,
It's Edge City. It's like a Gotham where it's not.
Yes.
It's an amalgamation.
but I got the vibe that it was a New York that had the climate of an LA kind of vibe. You know, it was like that kind of thing.
I feel like it's a New York Miami hybrid,
Ooh.
which is strange, but I love it. But I think it's twofold. One, the 90s was absolutely having a resurgence of that kind of style and look at the time.
Yeah.
Because it's present in a lot of other things, right?
Yeah, Swing Kids came out and everyone was like, I don't know, man. Maybe we should bring that back. And then we tried and it didn't go well. Yeah.
It came back for a while. But I think the comics are written in very kind of a 1940s neo-noir kind of a vibe.
It kind of feels that way. Like
Yeah.
the detective is like very like gumshoey. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And also
Yeah.
isn't like great. And I mean that from like those noir stories, like your PI is the great cop. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
The detective is not. So it like feels very noir to me.
Right.
In that sense, which I kind of dig that. Like I kind of like that part of the movie. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I think it suits the movie incredibly well. But I think that's where we get a lot of those stylistic elements. Because like even in the 90s, it would be rare to find a club like the Coco Bongo Club. Those mostly exist in movies or in 1960s and earlier.
Yeah.
But like it exists in this movie because it is kind of that gumshoe noir vibe with this bombastic cartoon character. And it's a wild mixture that just kind of works because like I similarly enjoyed the hell out of this today. I will say, I feel this way about a lot of the movies that we like watched as children and are now watching as adults. I feel like as kids, we fill in parts of stories that the movie didn't tell us, but we then are like, yeah, they definitely fell in love. They had time to hang out and whatever. And then you watch it as an adult and you're like, he's known her for 2 days and she has a troubling dating history.
I'm not 100% sure that at the end of this movie, she's not trying to find the cash he stole.
100%.
Right?
And that would be a great sequel, but that's not the sequel we got.
She ends up with Jamie Kennedy. I hear where you're going. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, we all wanted that.
Look, just because he and I have a blood feud is not is no reason.
Is it because you both dated Cameron Diaz shortly after The Mask too? Paige, perhaps maybe we should get into this movie scene by scene.
Let's do it. We open with no credits. You're welcome, Todd.
I know, it's great. We open up with scuba divers opening a literal treasure chest underwater, which is dumb. Bring it up to the boat, Jacques Cousteau, you idiot. Or else the one thing that's lighter than the water around it, is that how floating works? I don't know. The mask is gonna float away from you down the river. Like, it was so dumb to me. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, what if there'd been paper in there? You could have just gotten it all wet because you opened the box. I mean, I don't think that box was airtight, but I'm just saying.
It definitely wasn't airtight, but it did open and it looked like it was in a fish tank because every time it opened, like air bubbles came out.
It bubbled out.
And I was like, has that been down there 6 minutes or like what's happening? Because it seems like it's been down there years? Probably?
Years.
Yeah.
Who knows how it got there? All we know is he's pushing plastic coral out of the way to get to it.
Yeah.
It is very, very much a fish tank. I feel like I have seen people modify fish tank treasure chests to look like this from the movie.
I have a hot take as to where this is and how it's like.
Tell me.
So in my mind, I was like, oh, this is the Hudson.
Okay.
And the Vikings brought this over with them when they came to America in like way before Columbus, like that time period.
Uh-huh.
And they, through adventures or whatever, it got knocked out of the boat or they had to throw it off the boat because someone was like getting too out of hand, too, quote, berserker mode.
Right.
And so, yeah, they had to get rid of it.
I mean,
because the chest does have the mask like imprinted on it.
Yes.
Like carved into the top of the
it does.
treasure chest, for lack of a better term.
Let me put you onto a different pitch. Are you familiar with the Curse of Oak Island?
Paige, I am familiar, but I've honestly never seen the show. Everything I've learned about the Curse of Oak Island, you've yelled at me on Zoom calls.
You don't need to watch the show. At this point, they're just twiddling their thumbs and killing time. And I don't know how they've gotten like 4 more seasons out of it, but like...
Paige, can I just say this?
Yes.
If we go with my pitch, there's a reading out there of like The Northman where he pulls out the mask and goes bonkers on people. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, in that movie, he already gets a spear thrown at him, catches it midair, and then throws it right back and kills a dude. So, like...
That's pretty much what happens in this, but like the medieval version.
Right. Except he would just, like, write out the runes for somebody stop me or something like that. Just like, who's to say?
Honestly, Paige, I want just a shot-for-shot remake of Sisu, where it's just him wearing the mask. Because then all of the crazy shit he pulls off in that movie is like believable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think the mask could kill 100,000 Nazis or whatever he kills in that movie.
It's so many fucking Nazis.
So great.
Somebody told my dad about Sisu. And he was like, yeah, apparently there's like a new one. And then...
Yeah, it's called C2.
C2, Electric Boogaloo.
I hate myself too, guys. I do.
And I was like, bro, I saw the first Sisu in theaters at Panic Fest.
I know.
And it was fucking lit.
Yeah.
I'll watch it with you right now. And of course, it's been years. I don't super remember it. I just remember it being bloody as hell and we killed a bunch of Nazis. And I was like, I am feeling that right now. I'm only watching this in Indiana Jones until the ice situation gets cleared up. And so we're watching, and I forgot that the very first Nazi kill, he literally just like stabs a knife through a dude's head.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Oh!" And I was like, that's the cleanest one.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God. And by the end of the movie, we were just like cheering.
Yeah.
Healing. Watch Sisu, everyone.
Honestly, it's great.
It is great. I was thinking, what if Marvel / Marvel Comics Loki left it there and was like, we'll be back for this in a different timeline. Just like, oopsie daisy.
If they connected to this universe and like Loki puts on the mask at one point, I'd lose my mind.
I mean,
I honestly, Paige, controversial, I'd go see that movie. Like, I haven't seen any of the Marvel movies since Endgame. But anyway, these stupid divers let the mask float to the top, and because they have to wait 15 feet below the surface for 8 minutes before they can go to the surface or they'll get the bends, the mask gets away from them.
yeah. Oh, no. And it gets trapped by the trash god of old.
Low-key, that was a shitload of trash in that river.
A lot of trash in that river. And like weird trash too, where it was like a volleyball net and a tarp. It's like there's no beach for miles.
Honestly, when you see the kind of trash, you're like, where did the body go?
Yes, it looks like a body unraveled.
Yes, yeah. The body's just further down the aqueduct or whatever he's in right here. Yeah.
I mean, okay, a real dark version of this would have you find the body with the mask on it. And then the coroner is like doing the autopsy and takes the mask off and then puts it on and becomes like wild coroner.
I'd watch that too.
I got the first 30 pages right here.
Just running around showing everyone his tits. You're like, stop it.
Stop it.
No one wanted this. Here's your t-shirt though, as is per usual.
Yes.
Paige, we got to get into the second scene of this movie, please.
I'm just having fun. I'm in a real goofy mood.
Anyway.
Cut to the bank where he's talking to one of his coworkers. He's bought tickets for a thing tonight. And she's like, actually, could my friend go? Which is, I have seen people do this. This is very mean to do. Regardless of what gender you are or how this is working out, don't manipulate people for tickets for a thing that you don't want to go to with them.
You've seen people do this in real life?
Oh, yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
It's brutal. It's mean.
I mean, if someone did that to me, I'd be like, yeah, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars to buy that other ticket.
Right.
I'm happy. You know, I would give you the ticket I was planning to give you as we went on this date. Fine. That's fine. I'm going to need, if it's today dollars and you bought a ticket to anything, $555 or whatever that would cost because Ticketmaster's a monopoly.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, back in the 90s, it was probably like $15.
Right.
So
yeah, I should ask my mom how much my Hanson tickets were back in the day. I have no idea.
And they were like on the top of the world back then.
Yeah, this was Mbop days.
She had to wait in line for those tickets?
She had to wait in line for 2 hours in the rain.
I bet they were cheap AF compared to what tickets are now.
Mom of the century.
Yeah.
But he gives her the ticket and his buddy comes over and is just like, bro, you have to stop letting people walk all over you. Which honestly, agreed. Like, offer to let her buy that ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, doesn't even reschedule a date. I'm not like, listen, honestly, if someone did that to me, probably not going to want to date you because you're an inconsiderate person.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But, you know, if I did want to continue pursuing the relationship, which he does, I would have been like, all right, cool. Well, when can we hang out?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because I just gave you 2 tickets and because of the I'm just joking.
Yeah, I mean,
There can't be an implication when you give her tickets to be somewhere with somebody else away from you. That's the joke. Anyway.
Right. I feel like we didn't see this because it didn't happen on screen, right? We're coming in medias res as this is happening. There's absolutely a potential world in which he was like, hey, I want to go see this thing. Do you want to come with me? And didn't make it explicit that it was a date. But even then, if he invited you to be like, I want to see this thing. Do you want to see this thing? That's tickets for each of you. So if you're going to try and take his ticket, got to pay for it. I'm just, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so his friend is like, come on, that's ridiculous. We need to go out and have a night on the town. We got to go to the Coco Bongo Club. It's the perfect night for a night on the town. The rain starts. And they literally are like, what? And they're looking around. And outside, we do see Cameron Diaz walk across in the rain. She comes in and then like shakes herself off.
Yeah.
And this is where Richard Jenny, his friend at work, is like, hey, I'll take this one. And he's like, she blows right past him, is like, can you help me? And I think it's because she knows that he's kind of meek. Because what we'll find out is that she's casing the joint.
I think it's because that's the chair she needed to sit in so her camera could capture what she needed to capture. That's why I don't think it was because Jim Carrey was standing there. I think the roles have been reversed and that was not Tom Arnold's desk. She would have had this whole movie with Tom Arnold and it would have been way more boring while Stanley Ipkiss fucked off with the journalist with the mask.
It is not Tom Arnold.
No, it's not.
It's Richard Jenny.
It's not Tom Arnold.
It's not Tom Arnold.
But when you look at him, you're like, yeah, you're right. That's not Tom Arnold.
Kirkland brand Tom Arnold.
It's Bobo Tom Arnold. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They probably couldn't get Tom Arnold for any number of reasons. Probably insurance.
Or he was filming True Lies. Like, that was around this time.
That too, that could be.
Yeah.
But Jim Carrey sits down with her. She angles her purse so the camera is pointed at the vault. And she's just trying to distract him for long enough to get the video she needs to get.
Yes.
So she's like playing with his tie, flirting with him. There are jokes in this that went over my head from childhood to today, like where she's like, it reminds me of riding bareback.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, damn. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. He like sharpens a pen. He's like super distracted.
He's a little flustered. Yeah, he's got ink all over himself. He like blew his pen load, kind of, in the pencil sharpener. It happens to a lot of guys, Paige.
Oh, you made me ink. Yeah. But we cut to the mob watching on closed circuit as if this is like a hyper stylized heist movie, which I started thinking, I was like, I remember what cameras were like back in the day. I'm not going to question it.
Paige, think about what they're doing there and the technology required. That was all analog technology. Like, they are more or less like, she has a microwave in her purse and she's transmitting an image from the that microwave can see to a microwave at the office.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Everyone's getting cancer and technology sucks. But like, it was cutting edge. You were like, oh my God, she's wirelessly transmitting video? What is this, Star Trek? Like,
for real, because like, and they show the like camera in her purse, and it is huge and conspicuous compared to today's standards.
You practically see the operator's arm come out of her purse and adjust the focal length.
Yeah.
Like, that's how big the camera is.
But I like, here's what I need to communicate to the youngins who didn't live through this time. Your options were a camcorder, like a home camcorder, which best case scenario is roughly the size of like an iPad today. Best case scenario. And that's the ones on little DV tapes.
But you still got to sling it over your shoulder like a continental cinematographer.
Exactly. And you'd have to basically record things on tape, take the tape out, bring the tape back to the other people, and then they could watch it. There was no like closed circuit. If you wanted to wirely transmit the way that like the news did at the time, those cameras are the size of a suitcase. Like,
they would beam the signal to space via a satellite dish.
Yes.
Her purse does not have a satellite dish in it. That's our point, I guess.
Yes.
And that we're old.
Todd was not kidding about the microwave thing. Like, camera guys used to be big, beefy dudes just because the cameras were so big and heavy.
Now they're big, beefy dudes because reporters like to feel safe.
It is a dangerous time for them these days.
I have a really good friend who was a local TV cameraman for a long, long time, and he has the word smile written on his forearm.
Oh, that's a fucking badass tattoo.
And he has tons of pictures of like professional photos that like journalists would take of like a reporter that he was filming, and you could clearly see smile on his arm. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, because that tattoo is fucking lit.
Specifically for him and his job. Like, it was perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Like, I don't have a reason to get that tattoo, but if I would tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, that's so awesome.
It was so cool. Yeah.
Anyway, the mob is watching on closed circuit TV, or at least what we perceive to be the mob. We will find out that there's a mob above this mob because there is a complicated mob movie going on in this cartoon movie.
It's all one mob, though. It's all Nico's mob.
Right. Yes. For the moment. Yes.
And this is some sort of underboss that is planning a power struggle, or to like, you know, he's planning a coup d'etat.
He's a capo.
Yeah. Or as he would say it, a coup d'etat. He doesn't seem smart, I guess is my point. Yeah.
Like Shakespeare said, thou doth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, underboss mob is here.
And he's talking to one of his underlings about the plan. And the underling guy is like, hey, you talk to Nico about this.
Right.
And he's like, fuck Nico.
Fuck Nico.
And that guy's like, No, we need to cut Nico. That's a bad idea. Nico will kill us.
Yeah, the mob is not a place where you ask for forgiveness instead of permission. They don't really give you the chance.
Right. They'll just kill you.
Yeah. But Dorian Tyrell, aka we've been calling him Dorian Green because of the mask.
Right. I also called him Stupid Hulk when he's wearing, like when he's in mask form, because that's what he like that's what he is.
Also, the actor who plays Dorian just recently passed away, like literally like 2-3 weeks ago, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yes. We were already planning to do this when I heard about it, and I was like, oh no. So we'll go over it in fun facts, but yeah. RIP to that guy. That's kind of a bummer.
That's really sad. You know what's funny, though? His last name, actually Green. It's Peter Green is his name.
Yes, it's Peter Green.
Yeah.
Yep.
Paige, when he kills Nico like he is I'm going to say petty Bugs Bunny, I lost my mind.
Yes. I mean, that I love all the inclusions of the cartoonifications of the villains in this.
Me too.
We'll go over more of them, but yes, exactly the way Bugs Bunny would do.
Yeah.
But he's not going to cut Nico in. That's going to be a problem. He burns out his eyes. He has Nico's headshot.
He does.
And burns the eyes out.
Yeah. It's like a black and white headshot of his boss. And it's not in a frame, they're in Nico's office or something talking about it when he's out.
Right.
He just has an 8x10 black and white headshot of his boss at the ready to cigarette burn holes through and then put on his face like a mask. Because he's going to pretend to be a boss.
We all wear masks, metaphorically speaking.
Damn you, Ben Stein.
Anyway, we cut to the mechanic where Stanley Ipkiss, a.k.a. Jim Carrey, is there to pick up his car. And he just brought it in for an oil change. And they are clearly not being honest about their business practices.
Yes.
And they are conning him.
As he's walking in, one of them is talking to the other who you can't see and you think might be under the car, but climbs out through the hood. Not climbs out, but stands up where the hood is. So they've taken the engine out of this car and he's like, hey, what is this piece? And the other guy goes, I don't know, $700. So it's clear they're not the most ethical mechanics.
Right. They're not my mechanic, Greg, who we know is the best mechanic because he's missing 2 fingers.
As long as he's learned from each of those mistakes, I think he probably is a better mechanic, yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying he's as bad as the mechanic that Pelops bribed that messed up King Olumon's wheels or whatever, right? We're still talking Greek history, right? Sorry, I brought up Odysseus earlier, or the Odyssey earlier, so.
Way earlier, even though this is Norse mythology.
Oh yeah, my bad. It's all Greek to me, Paige. I don't know.
Low-key, it's Norse mythology. Anyway, his car's not going to be ready. So he gets a loaner so that he can go to the club with his friend. He gets there. His friend knows the bouncer, gets him and his 2 girlfriends in, and the bouncer closes the gate before Stanley can get in.
Such a dick move because he doesn't even attempt to look for or come get or collect or contact Stanley, his best friend who he's left on the street. I was like, Tom Arnold is not a friend.
No.
And neither is this guy.
No. Yeah, not good. This has happened to me at the Comedy Store multiple times. Not recently, but back in the day when I was still a younger comic.
Oh, before you had gone up? So you were friends with people who had gone up so could get back into the more exclusive areas, but
No.
Oh, okay.
I was on the show. I would be on the lineup, but they would assume I was an audience member.
Oh, yeah.
It happened a lot, lady. And it took very famous people coming to find me at the rope and embarrass the doormen for that to stop happening.
Can I tell you a funny story that does not have to do with me, but I saw it happen?
Uh-huh.
I went and saw Buck Cherry because I've seen them 8 times. They always put on a great show. If you've not seen Josh Todd and the Boys live, you're crazy.
You're a crazy bitch
Exactly.
and you fuck so good you're on top of it, man. Yeah, I feel you. Go ahead.
I saw him at Cannery Ballroom before that place shut down here in town, and probably, 1,000 people there. We were right up front, right next to where the band got out to go get drinks from the bar.
Uh-huh.
They didn't have to come into the audience. There was a side area they went, but we could see them.
Yeah.
And so their lead guitarist went over there, got a drink and came back. And the guy who was stopping VIPs would not let him back because he did not have his badge on. And he was like, we're headlining tonight. Blackstone Cherry's opening for us. Anyway, so the door opens and I see both Josh Todd and their other guitarist who writes most of the music with Josh looking at and seeing what was going on. And he was like, yelled, can you help me?
Yeah.
And we heard Josh yell, we don't know him. It was like watching brothers fight in a very silly way. And you just know those dudes have spent the last, 940 hours together. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just to that stage in the relationship. Anyway, it was so funny.
That is similar to what happened to me where I was like, my name is right there under performers.
Yeah.
That's right. And then it took the Sklar brothers being like,
Oh.
hey, Paige, you're on tonight. Oh my God.
Paige, I always knew you were into twins. The Scarbloods are great, by the way.
Yes, please let me through.
That's awesome.
Anyway, they don't let him in. And because he's trying to fight and goes on the other side of the rope, never go on the other side of the rope, they physically throw him in the gutter. His car comes around. It looks gross. He gets splashed with water. And who does he see getting out of a limo but Cameron Diaz, a.k.a. Tina?
Yeah. It's actually not his car coming around. It's Tina's car, I think, coming around. Because his car needs like a bunch of like work done. It doesn't. But like he's getting screwed by the mechanics, right?
Right.
And they give him the loaner.
The loaner.
Which I thought was great.
Yes. But he kind of bungles this interaction where he's like, it's not my car. I mean, I drove up in a Porsche or whatever. And she's like, okay, like, bye.
Okay. Hot take.
Uh-huh.
If he had played this a little more jokey,
yes,
I would have thought it was just him doing a funny bit because he
Same.
owns a shitty car. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, that's funny, man. I get it. You know, like I drive a Jetta. Who am I to say? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And to be honest, I think that's what they're kind of going for anyway, because like, obviously, if they switched your car, you wouldn't just be like, I'll take this one. Like, that's clearly. But he's trying to drive home and the car completely breaks down on the bridge to the point where he like tries to open the hood, burns his hand, he kicks the bumper, and literally the car falls apart.
Yeah. It's a POS.
Yeah.
Like it's a lemon law car. Like you wouldn't buy that.
100%.
It's technically a 1951 Studebaker Champion though, if you're familiar.
Yes, it's a beautiful old car that they have made look bad. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it's not a bad looking car. I mean, it's rusted out and stuff, which they've done on purpose, but like, it's a cool looking car that like is in shitty condition. Yeah.
It's a very comic book looking car.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But he kind of like rests his head on the side of the overpass, the bridge, looks down into the water, sees what he thinks is a body because there was probably a body in that trash. But he dives in to save what he thinks is a person, finds the mask, and then as he does, he's about to put it on, and the cop catches him and is like, what are you doing down there? And he's like, just looking for my mask. Found it. And the cop's like, all right, move it along. And you're like, what? You're just going to accept that? All right.
I guess they would just let white dudes do anything in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But he comes home, tracking mud all through the carpet in the hallway of his apartment building. His landlord's pissed about it. They clearly have a contentious relationship, but he won't stand up to her because he's kind of just a mild-mannered, repressed guy.
The whole beginning of the movie is just them setting up him as like a pushover, right?
Exactly.
And so like they want him to have like an arc or whatever. And that's where he starts in this.
Right. So he gets home and puts in VHSs of Tex Avery cartoons.
Yeah.
Which I do love me some Tex Avery cartoons. It's a very specific look. It's a very specific vibe. It is very of the time. And this is one of my most used gifs in replying to people is the wolf on the table.
Yeah, it is a pretty good one.
Love that.
The landlord's name, did you catch what it is?
Mrs. Peenman.
It's Peenman. Yeah, it's Mrs. Peenman.
Yeah.
And his boss's name is Mr. Dickey, and I found both of those names to be a little on the nose and hilarious.
My favorite that I didn't realize until watching it today is that Mrs. Peenman is at the charity ball at the end the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear her getting kicked out like everyone else. Not kicked out, but the cops are escorting people out.
Well, you hear her escorting people out, and then at one point he like pushes past her and she's like, hey, I'm drinking here. Like she's just yelling in the background.
I love it.
It's fun. But she yells at him to turn down his cartoons. He does. He changes the channel to Ben Stein giving that talk of like, we all wear masks, metaphorically speaking. And then he, of course, does the imitation of him in the mirror and finally tries the mask on.
Yeah. And this is where he goes full mask, like you've seen a million times.
Yes.
I mean, he looks like a green fire marshal Bill in a zoot suit. Like that. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, 100%. And he's like tiptoeing down the hallway because she said to be quiet because everything, it's everything that Stanley Ipkiss wishes he would do and then heightened, right?
Yes.
So he's quiet near the landlord, but then an alarm clock goes off and he tries to smash the alarm clock with a giant sledgehammer.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the landlord comes out with a gun and he bounces all around the hallway until he jumps out the window down onto the street.
Yeah. This is like Who Framed Roger Rabbit level animation of him jumping around all cartoony. I say that like it's a bad thing. It's not. I kind of love it.
I have a weird love for Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Same.
That's a weird as fuck movie,
It
but
is.
I fucking dig it. I don't know that we could justify doing it on this. I think this has more of a straightforward love story in it. At least he's trying to do a lot of stuff for her attention. Yes.
I agreed. Yeah.
As opposed to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where it's just more like, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way. And it's...
Yes, you are, Jessica Rabbit.
I love Jessica Rabbit. But he's flat on the street. Look, Ma, roadkill. He gets up, he like honks a giant horn at somebody, and then he's about to get mugged.
The horn is a tiny horn.
Yes.
It's that squeeze softly,
gently.
and then it becomes huge and blows out all the windows in the car.
Arrgh.
Yeah.
Yes. But then he gets approached by a gang out of like the Warriors
Yes.
or like the Lost Boys and Hook to try and mug him. And he kind of leads them down into an alley where he kind of pretends to be like a carnival barker and he's making like balloon animals.
Yeah.
He does that first balloon animal, which is a giraffe. Then he pulls out what, as a child, I thought was just a gross balloon or a tissue. It's a used condom.
I thought it was like a slimy balloon, but it was not a
Yes.
slimy balloon. Yeah, it was a condom. You're right. Yes.
And a used condom specifically. That is a used condom.
Yeah.
But then I do love that he pulls out and does the French poodle and he's like, Rabbit, had to put it down.
Yeah, had to put it down.
As he like pops it.
There's so many lines from this, like his first night as the Mask, that I still quote. Like the, knock it out of here, kid, you bother me. Like I still say that to people all the time. They don't get it. And they probably think I'm a dick, but like I still do the 1920s, knock it out of here, kid, you bother me. And sorry, kid, the dog was rabid, had to put it down.
I had to put him down. I also love that, like, he then forms a Tommy gun. He shoots at them. There's no way he didn't kill at least one of this gang.
Oh, he's shooting balloon bullets, Paige?
Yeah. You know, the tiny ones, the non-lethal. But he's like, with these powers, I could be a superhero. But first, like...
Oh, yeah, I gotta go install some mufflers up some mechanics' exhaust pipes.
Exactly. And he just shows up, and that's what he does. It is horrible and torturous. But again, this is essentially his id acting out on the frustrations he has in his day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So he wakes up the next day. The mask is on the table, and he's like, oh, thank goodness, it was just a dream. I gotta lay off the cartoons. And then wakes up to a knock, and it's Lieutenant Calloway, who's like, hey, did you hear the disturbance last night? And as he looks out into the hallway, he realizes all of the things that he remembers happened.
Yes, it wasn't a bad dream. He did
Right.
everything he thought was the dream part, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, she was attacked. No, I didn't hear anything. But Calloway gives him the card, and he's like, oh God, I'm late. I gotta get to work.
I gotta point out one interaction. I'm so sorry.
Go for it.
So this scene is the one where the detective, or I guess he's a lieutenant, whatever,
Lieutenant, yeah.
where Jim Carrey like looks in the hallway and is like, that's impossible. And the cop goes, those pajamas are impossible. This
Right.
actually happened. And I was like, son of a bitch, this guy is like going to roast school. Like he just took him to task for his crazy ass pajamas, which comes back because that plants the seed as to why he remembers that pajama pattern.
To be honest, I love that he is so offended by those pajamas that he's like, I'd recognize those anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, those are the worst pajamas I've seen in my entire life.
They're so ugly, one store only sold one pair, for sure.
Yes, and they burned the rest. But Stanley Ipkiss is late. He's got to go to work. He throws the mask out the window, but it comes right back in.
Yes, it does.
The other window and lands on the couch.
He doesn't notice because he's like late to work and he's like leaving the front door as it flies back in. But
Anyway, we do stop at the mechanics. And weirdly enough, Stanley's not there. He doesn't go to pick up the car. He goes straight to work. But we as the audience get to see the mechanics
yeah,
and see what has happened to them and the mufflers.
I think this is technically the first time we introduce Maid Marian from last week
Yes,
as the journalist,
100%.
although not much happens here except for it reveals what happened to the mechanics and it introduces her as a character who's like a quote journalist.
And how she got Stanley's info, because she clearly
Yes.
took it from the mechanic shop.
Yes.
But we cut to Stanley gets to work and his boss is like, what the fuck, you're 40 minutes late. Now, granted, in this movie, we see Stanley show up 40 minutes and an hour and a half late. And I am a late person by trade. But even if I was that late to work all the time at my like day ass job, I'd be fired. And I'd expect to be fired at a certain point. Like, what?
Yeah, I get that. He's been late twice in his career, so like, F this dude. And at this point, it's the first time he's been late before, as far as we know.
As far as we know, we haven't seen the screen, off the screen, but
The boss comes up and is like, you're 40 minutes late. That's exactly the same as stealing. And I'd be like, it's terrifying. You own a bank and you think that's stealing, you moron.
right? I mean, let me as someone who manages people, if this happened on my team where someone was like 40 minutes late and an hour and a half late with no explanation back to back, because this is 2 days in a row at least.
I would assume they need some time off to handle a personal thing.
Yes!
That would be my approach, right? Hey, are you okay?
Yes.
Anything we can help with? Like that kind of approach. Not like, you're stealing from my daddy, you asshole.
No, I'd be like, is everything, especially if it's someone that's never late. And I'd be like, oh my God, are you okay? Is everything okay? Is something going wrong? Like, do you need time off? Just rest. I don't care, right? Like, but back in the day when people still came into offices, people were real bitchy about that shit.
Yeah. Why didn't we see your badge scan until this time? Idiots. I hated that kind of stuff.
Anyway, he also sees that they're looking at the newspaper, which has covered Tina's act at the Coco Bongo as like a local review.
Yeah.
And they're saying she's great.
That's kind of how they get him out of trouble, because not Tom Arnold is like, oh, that's one of Stanley's new clients. He was doing research, and so like he was out late, came in, and the guy's like, well, because he sees her picture. When he opens the newspaper, he's like, well, when she comes in, make sure you send her right to my office.
Right.
Because it's Cameron Diaz in her first movie ever, Her
first movie ever. This is also, though, where Richard Jenney, who plays his best friend, is like, oh, I wish my daddy owned a bank. And so that'll come back later when in Stanley's arc, he's gotten more mask than man and basically comes back at this dude for being late the next time.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's like, you don't need her. You need a more down-to-earth girl, redhead, jacket, name tag. And he's like, you've really narrowed it down.
Yeah.
But it is Maid Marian, a.k.a. Peggy Brandt is her name in the movie, coming to ask Stanley. And she's trying to be more of like an investigative reporter instead of the advice column. So she's like, something is afoot in Edge City, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And so this is why she has chased down Stanley as a lead from the mechanic.
I think she's the quote, attainable woman for Stanley.
Hilariously, right?
Who then, I think, as sort of a flip, they make her a bad character, which I kind of liked.
Right.
Yeah,
honestly, like her flip makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah.
As a kid, I hated it. But as an adult, I'm like, yeah, girl, save that condo.
Right? I get it. Like, I do. I get it. Times are hard out here.
Times are hard. But this is also where we find out that he had written into her advice column with some kind of incel shit, to be honest with you, of like, nice guys always finish last.
The problem is they typically finish minutes before their partner does. But like, I did think it was like, they don't position it like incel-y stuff. In fact, she even says that like a lot of women wrote in trying to get your information because like, it does seem like it was a diatribe about a guy who was struggling to find people to date because Tinder hadn't been invented yet. And he's not a terrible dude and doesn't maybe love the club scene or whatever. Like,
I don't love the club scene.
Me either. But like his best friend at his job does,
Right.
And she even like, she's putting it on pretty thick here because she even says like, when he says, do you think there's like a bunch of women out there who would want to date someone like me? She's like, yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And he like doesn't pick up on it.
No.
Because he saw Cameron Diaz once, so he thinks he's got a chance.
I honestly think that like, take Cameron Diaz out of the equation. If he had been like, if he had called her number, Peggy, and been like, hey, do you want to go to dinner sometime? She'd be like, absolutely, let's go. Like, he would not be finishing last anymore. I mean, he should really prioritize, get her to finish a couple times.
I was going to say, that's not necessarily a good thing, Paige. He should finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paige, this is not going to surprise you because you know what my wife looks like.
True.
But I would say forget Cameron Diaz all day anyway.
Yeah. I want to see what that mask do on his landlord.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe we might be into it. She's feisty.
She is feisty. I'd be scared. Like that's super villain right there.
That's my lane, is being scary.
Yeah, but Paige, I don't think you should associate yourself with a landlord class. Like that's all I'm saying.
True.
She does seem like she's just living off the people that live in the 4 apartments that are in the place she has, like she doesn't seem like a land baroness, if that makes sense. Yeah.
No, just angry. Like her father left her the building and she's just like, I'm keeping it up for dad, but that's why I've got the shotgun. Anyway.
In case he comes back.
Who knows? This is also one of the jokes that I did not understand as a child that I do as an adult with that most men think monogamy is some kind of wood.
Yeah.
Very well written joke. Completely over our heads as children.
Because it's not wood, right? Is that the joke? No, I know what it is. Yeah, I know the joke.
I thought my piano was made out of monogamy.
It's mahogany. Sorry, yeah. I thought mahogany was the guy in Police Academy.
What was the name of the Diana Ross movie? Monogamy? Anyway, so we cut to Nico, the big mob boss,
Yes.
has brought in Dorian to be like, hey, quit running tiny scams out of my club. The cops are sniffing around and I don't need the fucking cops sniffing around. And he like tees a ball off Dorian's face.
And it goes because it hits like one of those like, I don't know, it hits like a net and then that machine tells you how far that ball would have gone. And it yells out 205 yards and he struck that with a putter.
Yeah.
Like if you hit a ball that far with a putter, Tiger's going to call you asking for advice.
Right.
Happy Gilmore has a stroke he wants to learn from you. Like that's how hard you would have had to have hit that.
Right.
For that to go that far with the putter. And Nico's 60.
Yeah. What you didn't see was just slightly past Nico in the background, Chubbs being like, it's all in the hits. It's all in the hits.
Just like cleaning his wood hand. Anyway.
Oh, Chubbs, you took his hand. R.I.P. Carl with.
I know.
You make a good soup with that hand.
I was just about to make a joke like that. I don't know why I sounded Italian, but I was just about to make a joke like that. I was like, you drop that wood hand in a broth, you got a stew going.
You got a stew going.
And honestly, an environmentally conscious stew.
Oh, man. So, meanwhile, Stanley Ipkiss is dreaming, replaying that interaction he had with Tina from the night before.
Yeah, with the car.
With the car where he's like actually playing it cool and they make out. And she's
Well, and
like,
it's actually a Porsche. They don't make out, though.
well, she licks his ear because it turns out to be the dog.
And listen, I get that there are people who might be into that, but like the way she's licking his ear is much like the way a dog would lick your ear.
Right.
It's not like a sexy, intimate ASMR kind of lick. It's like a from the back of the house, like you can't even see him because they're so far away and the stage lights are hitting you just right. Like that's how far away she is when she starts to lick his face. It's insane. But then it cuts to like, oh, it's a dream and that's his dog licking his, thank God, his face.
Right.
Thank God his face. Yes.
Yeah. Because from the top, make it drop. That's some wet ass ear.
Yeah, it is a wet ass ear for sure.
I feel like if you have a pet small enough to end up in your bed at any given point of time just to snuggle up like a pet does, there is always some sort of dream or something where you wake up like, ah, and then just realize it's your pet that you love just doing pet stuff. If I had a nickel for every time as I like moved in a like creepy dream and then just put my hand down on something very soft and warm and was like, and then it is just the cat.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. All I'm saying is there's no way Jim Carrey didn't wake up with a very confusing boner. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
Sure.
having a pretty decent dream.
Oh my God. At one point, I'll bring it up later, but at one point somebody gets frisked in this movie and he's like, stop, you're giving me wood. And I'm like, what? Whoa, what?
They literally pull a bazooka out of his pocket seconds later, Paige.
Not that one. A different frisking.
Oh, it's a different one?
Multiple friskings in this film.
Man, Giuliani's getting out of hand with these stop and frisks in Edge City.
Anyway, Stanley gets out of bed. He contemplates putting the mask on. He's like, no. And he like tosses it behind the couch. But then he jumps behind the couch. He comes out fully masked. And this is the like section everyone remembers where he's like getting dressed up. He shaves with a butter knife.
Yeah. He's got a mask on. Like he's got no facial hair to shave.
I know. It's just funny because he spreads it like butter, which is really funny.
He could have shaved with a spatula. Like the joke would have been better.
Possibly. But he realizes he like goes to pull his pockets. There's nothing in it. He's like, can't make the scene without the green. And this is where he goes and literally robs a bank.
His bank.
His
he
bank.
goes to Dickie and Sons Bank or whatever it's called and robs the bank. As the gangster, not Nico, but like his underboss, Dorian Green, is trying to... Oh, I guess Dorian Green's not there. He's at the club for the alibi.
He's at the club for the alibi.
Yeah, the doctor's there.
Yeah, the doctor's there. But just as they're about to break into the bank, the mask breaks out of the bank and runs off faster than they can chase. But who should come up? The cops. Now, this is a crazy thing where the cops are turning the corner at the end of the block and the guys in front of the bank start shooting. I'm like, you have at least a few seconds to run instead of shoot. But instead they stay put and start shooting before the cops even officially get there.
I know, it's stupid. Had they just stood up and started walking down the street, yeah, the cops would have like held them for questioning, but when they checked the videotape, they would have just seen that they were bystanders walking on the street when the window exploded.
Right.
Or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Can you arrest somebody for intent to rob? Like,
You could arrest them for trespassing.
they hadn't trespassed. They were on a public sidewalk.
That is true, unless they went into the vestibule.
I don't think they did. They were still outside the front doors.
There was one guy trying to unlock, but only that one guy, right? So
That
like,
guy's going to jail forever. But like everybody else, fine. Also, they just start shooting and one of them dies because of it. The doc dies.
yes, Doc dies.
The irony.
Because the cops shot back, obviously, because if you shoot, they will shoot back. It's like a whole thing.
Typically, yeah.
It's not great. We could have a larger conversations about guns and policing in our community, but in the moment, it was probably best to run back to the electric van and drive away.
Right.
Anyway, we cut to the club where a super long limo shows up and the mask pops out. And he's like, are you on the list? He's like, no, but my friends are. And he lists out all the presidential flashcards, tosses them, and walks into the club.
Yeah.
At this point, we get Tina's song, Baby Ain't I Good to You.
Yeah.
We get the whole Tex Avery thing. But while that's happening, they call Dorian upstairs to be like, hey, man, we got a problem. And one of us is dying. While Dorian is away, this is where the mask dances with Tina.
Yeah.
Where he like sets up the band, creating, essentially giving us an idea of the mythos of this character can not only alter his own person and generate things out of thin air, but can alter the people around him.
He invents an entire music genre when he does this. Yeah. He creates ska music, full cloth right here. Yeah. But before he does that, like he watches Cameron Diaz sing that song like you mentioned.
Right.
And Cameron Diaz can't sing famously. She's in other movies where she can't
Yes.
sing. Like in real life, she can't sing. So obviously her voice is replaced. If you look like Cameron Diaz does and you could sing like the person in this movie who's singing for her,
You wouldn't be in this club.
Yes, exactly. You would be on a world tour somewhere. You wouldn't be in this swing club or whatever.
Right.
But she is so attractive that her set list is one song.
Right.
Like she's like, I did my song, guys. I'm done for the night.
I'm done. I'm out.
And this is when Jim Carrey invents ska and dances with her. Yeah.
Invents ska by performing a song from 1943. But yes.
Yeah. Everything old is invented again, or whatever the phrase is.
Exactly. There's nothing new under the sun. But as they're talking upstairs about like somebody got to the bank before us, who was it? That guy who's dancing with Tina. Fuck, he's gonna pay because Doc is now dead.
Yeah.
So the gangsters all come down to the floor and just start fucking firing guns. Multiple times in this movie, people walk into a crowded club, fire guns, and most of the people just stop what they're doing and wait to hear what the gunman has to say.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah. Normally when someone comes in and starts shooting at a place, you don't like lean in.
Right, you're like, I wonder if he has some good points.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Do
fucking
you
nuts.
perchance happen to have a manifesto we could read?
Right.
Like nobody does that. Everyone's like, let's run. This guy's nuts.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
So he basically is like, clear out. I gotta talk to this guy. And this is where we get their first interaction where they're trying to shoot him. They can't, although they do shoot part of his tie off and it turns into pajamas.
Yeah, that's like the moment the gun battle starts when they come downstairs first, because he's still dancing with Cameron Diaz. He just kissed her. He like dips her, all as a part of the dance, right?
Right.
And she's holding on to his tie and they shoot him and it goes through his tie and breaks off the tie and she falls to the ground. And then that's when it turns back into the pajamas.
Right.
But logically, because it went through his tie, you're like, oh, he's shot. So then because he's not reacting to that at all, that he can't be shot. Like he's fine.
Right. He's fine. I do love that he pretends to be their accountant and is like, funeral expenses are deductible. Lucky for you.
Yeah.
Basically being like,
I think it's funeral bouquets, which is even more
Yes.
specific and odd.
funeral bouquets.
Yeah.
Because the implication being like, you're a mob guy who kills a bunch of people. You could write that off.
Yeah. But then like he also does the multiple deaths where he's like pretending to be different
Yes.
characters from famous movies. And then he gets an Oscar. And I love the Oscar moment when like the crowd comes up in like black and like they're all
Yes.
clapping. And then Dorian Green is like, oh shit, when did the crowd get here? And he's like trying to fix his
Yeah.
hair and he's like looking over like, oh my God, the two dudes that aren't Jim Carrey, who was also acting his ass off right here.
Right.
Like those dudes are actually doing some really funny work too. And I like appreciated that this time watching it.
I also love that within that scene, Jim Carrey does the like this direction.
Yeah.
Got it. That people do every time at
Yeah.
award shows. And it is Sally Field's speech
It
that he's
is.
like pretending to do. But my favorite is technically a rule of 4, tough to pull off in joke world. But he's doing the impressions of like, Ma, tell old Yeller. And then he like goes and coughs. And on the last one, he holds and instead coughs directly into the guy's face. And I love it every time.
Well, and then blows a raspberry of spit in his face. Yeah, it's like hilarious.
It is my favorite.
It's like malicious comedy. Like that's
Yes.
why I like it so much.
But after he wins the Oscar, the cops show up and he is able to easily escape. But of course, all of the mobsters don't have mask powers, so they are stuck there being patted down, including the cops finding the body upstairs.
Well, and the cops just assume that, like, yeah, these are the dudes we had the shootout with. Maybe not Dorian, who has an alibi for that, but like the guy we shot is upstairs dead. There's definitely a connection. You're all going downtown, Right.
And Dorian actually is the one who says, like, easy, Junior, you're giving me a Woody, like during the pat down. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
All right.
Gross.
But this is where Calloway finds the fabric and he's like, there's only one person in this town with pajamas that egregious. It's Ipkiss.
I kind of wish we had a double beat of the word impossible. Like when he saw it, be like, impossible.
No, those pajamas are impossible. This actually happened.
I loved that burn. It was so dumb. And like, there's no need for that. But he brought it to this fight and I loved it.
I loved it. He goes to Ipkiss's house the next day. Stanley wakes up. There's money. Well, there's the mask and he's like trying to clean stuff up. He goes to throw the mask in the closet and the closet is full of just loose money that would be impossible to quickly hide. But also he's got a rat terrier.
Yes, it is like bags of money with dollar signs. It's like what you would see in a cartoon if one of the Animaniacs robbed a bank. Like that's what it looks like. And yeah, it's all over the floor and he's just trying to like shove it back in a way that would never work. And then he does open the door and it's all cleaned up, which is impossible. Funny to me, but like impossible. Yeah.
Yep. But at this point, Calloway is like, where were you, last night? If you heard about this mask character, there can't be 2 people with those pajamas. He's like, they were stolen, but some guy in a rubber mask, weird. But then we cut to the mob basically being like, 50 grand to whoever catches this guy before the cops do.
Well, and not to kill him, to bring him here, because Dorian wants to kill him, right?
Right.
So it's like he has to be delivered here within 48 hours and you get the 50 grand, which I did look up. That's $108,000 today, roughly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I get it. Like, if you turn me in for $108,000, Paige, I'd be proud of the sum you got.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be like, damn. I'd have turned myself in for 75. Are you kidding me?
Right?
In this economy? Come on.
Tell me about it. But Stanley goes to work. He's late again. And he is so stressed that he just like, as his boss goes to kind of berate him about it, he cuts back and is like, hey, I'll tell people that your daddy owns the bank and you're basically stealing and embezzling money.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up. And he's like, that'll be all on your way.
Yeah, he's like, have a good day at work, sir. As he goes back to his office.
Yes.
This guy looked a lot like Kevin Bacon if his eyes were too close together. I can't explain it other than that.
Yes.
But like that kind of vibe.
Yep. But we then cut to his best friend at work is like, that's incredible. I don't know what's up with you, but I've got tickets to the charity ball at the Coco Bongo on Saturday. And he's like, I don't know that I should go outside, but who should walk in but Cameron Diaz? Now, we did just see Cameron Diaz in with the mobsters when Dorian was offering the basically price on the mask's head. And she's like, you're fucking losing it. And he's like, there's going to be payback for anybody who didn't trust me, you included, essentially. But she comes in to talk to Stanley. They go upstairs and she's like, yeah, I'm not going to be opening an account, but I wanted to say goodbye. And he's like, well, what about, the club? I thought it was doing well. She's like, yeah, but I don't know how long that's going to last. She's about to skip town is what is going to happen.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's like, yeah. And plus the whole mask thing. And he's like, oh, he was at the club last night. I hear he's weird looking. She's like, yeah, but you ought to see him dance. And he's like, well, I know him though.
I taught him a few moves. Yeah, we went to college together. Like Cameron Diaz comes here to find out who robbed the bank and then find out where that money is,
Yes. I'm like, we don't know Cameron Diaz as a character in this movie enough to not assume that she's not like, perfect, I'm going to set up a trap for this fool. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think she's one of the only smart characters in this movie. And I definitely think she's trying to get her hands on that money.
I mean, if she's smart.
Yeah.
But they set up a date with her and the mask at Landfill Park. But this is where Stanley then goes to Ben Stein, the guy, the masks, metaphorically speaking, or the masks we wear or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is where he has the like, should I go as the mask or should I go as me? And he's like, you should go as both because you're both the same beautiful person.
Which I did kind of love that they let Ben Stein give you the moral like log line of this movie.
Right.
Yeah. Which is like, oh, I guess the Dragon Scroll is me. I am the Dragon Scroll. Okay. I get it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the police station, they get the fingerprints back and they're like, it's Stanley Ipkiss. He robbed the bank. Let's start tailing him and following him around. We cut to Landfill Park, where Stanley shows up and meets with Tina until the sun goes down, because we establish at Ben Stein's office that the mask only works at night because it's one of the night gods. This is also where we find out it's Loki's mask.
Well, that's what he theorizes. And yeah, I'm
Right.
sure that that's right canonically in the story or whatever. But
Right.
I do love the scene where Ben Stein is watching him like try to put the mask on during the day and like he's trying to like make it work. It's so dumb. I love it.
I do. Great physical acting from Jim Carrey because his whole body is into it.
Well, and also really dry deliveries from Ben Stein, which is like, that's like the one thing he can do excellently well, you know?
Right.
But it's him like, if I tell you, do you promise to leave my office right now? Like, I can't
Right.
even do it as dry as he does, but yeah.
Clear eyes. Wow. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. They gave that man a game show in the 90s.
Dude, that game show was fucking lit. I used to watch that game show all the time. He's not necessarily, his opinions right now, I don't love. But back in the day, that game show, we used to watch that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Win Ben Stein's money? Of course.
We all tried to win it.
We all tried to win it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to Landfill Park. And Stanley stays till sunset, but then changes into the mask.
Well, he doesn't change into the mask yet.
Not till the sun goes
because
down.
he meets Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
And they talk before he changes into the mask, right?
We do get a little bit of a hang cute.
Paige, this is not, but it is the most romantic part of the movie. Like, it's not romantic.
Right.
Because what essentially they talk about is like, hey, isn't the sunset beautiful through the
Methane
emissions
gas?
from the trash pile that make up the name Trash Pile Park where we are? Like, it's so...
Right.
Yeah, but that's them just trying to be romantic or whatever.
Yes. But then we get the Pepe Le Pew of the mask.
Yes, because he's like, well, let me go get my friend. I just want to make sure you guys
Right.
got like set up. I'm sorry, I'll go get my friend. So he like does the Miss Doubtfire and goes behind a bush and changes into the mask by dipping his face in a green cake.
Right. Exactly.
Except in a French accent, Paige.
Bonsoir! Bonsoir, mes amis. Anyway.
But because he's French now, she's not into it, which I get.
Non! Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Voulez-vous coucher avec? Nah, is what she says. Nah.
Nah. And they have a few minutes where he is coming on way too strong as Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, he's just like a live action Pepe Le Pew.
But the cops show up, and this is where they frisk him, and they're pulling all of the stuff out of his pockets, like a bazooka. I have a permit for that.
Rubber chicken.
Rubber chicken.
Honestly, there are probably like 5 or 6 little jokes in his pockets, which is so funny to me.
Well, there's one that I had never noticed before today, and I think it's because we also kind of noticed it in the movie that we did last week, where as they're kind of roughing him up, he goes, "Where's a camcorder when you need one?" And I was like,
yeah.
Is there also a Rodney King joke in this? Had no idea.
Yes, I do think this is a Rodney King joke.
Yes.
And I think they're playing it like it's been so long since it's happened and so many people are making fun of it. Now even like white people are making fun of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's played in a very like suburban way. I don't know how else to say it, but I do think it's a Rodney King like reference point, if that makes sense.
I think it's played in a way of people who don't, it does not work as well with him, right? It works last week when it was Dave Chappelle. It doesn't work here. And it is people being tone deaf to the reality of that joke.
Yes, that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like the Karen version of that joke.
Yes.
Because he says it after being like picked up from his knees while he's cuffed
Right.
by the cops. He's not being beat or like roughly
Right.
manhandled. It just like may have hurt a little bit when they picked him up so he could stand up.
Right.
I don't know. It's a weird moment that I can't really break down.
Yeah, I did not love it.
Nah.
But I did love when they pulled out the picture of the lieutenant's wife. You married her. Hilarious.
Well, and the picture is like she's like on a bed provocatively posed with like a negligee on.
And it says, "Call me lover."
Yeah, with the "Call Me Lover" on it. Like, it's very clear she's into it.
Yeah, I thought you'd have a sense of humor after all. You married her.
Yeah, it's great.
But this is when he slaps them a bunch, manages to cuff them to each other, and runs through the gate of the park, locks up the gate only to turn and find himself surrounded by the cops.
It's the SWAT team specifically.
Yeah, and the SWAT team specifically.
Yeah.
At which point we get a full musical number for Cuban Pete.
Yes. And Paige,
Yes.
I think maybe in the 90s, Cuban Pete would have worked. I feel like in today's America, that is not the right song to sing to get out of anything.
True. I would say it's definitely an older song that they're repurposing because all the music in this movie, because I did have the soundtrack at one point, it slaps, but almost all of it is 40s to 60s big band kind of gangster classics, right?
Yeah.
And so that is a song that existed prior to this by a different band.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've definitely heard Chick Chicky Boom, Chick Chicky Boom, Chick
Chicky
Chicky
Boom,
Boom a
Chick Chicky
ton.
Boom.
Like every time I go to Chewy's restaurant when I order it.
Amazing. But this is definitely a point where they were like, how can we just turn on the cameras and let Jim Carrey do whatever the hell he wants to do for 5 minutes of this movie?
Well, and honestly, the SWAT team joins in. Like later in the movie,
Yes.
there's like a throwaway line between the lieutenant and his like partner where he says Vegas offered a residency to the SWAT team,
Yes.
which I think is such a great like underheard joke because they don't really address it. But man, I fully support full police squads and or departments just like giving up the job of protecting the rich's wealth and like doing something valuable for society and like creating art. Let's do it, guys. I'm here for that.
Yes, I'd watch it.
I fully would go. If there was an actual SWAT team made up of like 48-year-old dudes who 3 years ago were dedicated to shooting people with sniper rifles and just picked up jazz tap as a hobby, I definitely would go see that show. There's no way it's going to be good, Paige.
No, not at all. It's not a rhythm-based job. I feel like there's a lot for them to learn.
Do you guys feel like we lost the magic without the mask? Yes, Thomas.
Yes.
I feel like we made a mistake taking this residency job without the magic of Loki.
Yes. And also, it's weird that we are keeping maracas on our belts like grenades.
As a percussionist at heart at all times, it's not that weird. That's where they belong.
With the rain stick on the other side. But the mask runs off after the musical number.
Right.
A woman screams. He kisses her to keep her quiet, takes off down the alley, and then takes the mask off, revealing that it is Stanley Ipkiss, who should show up just in the nick of time, but Peggy. He climbs into her car, and this is where we end up in the printing factory press place.
Yes.
And they have this long...
With Maid Marian.
With Maid Marian. This long conversation of like, hey, all of the things that you feel like the mask is bringing out in you were already in you. You don't need the mask to be this person and to be more assertive. And you are a good guy as is. You don't need this.
Yeah.
It's a really nice, heartwarming talk if it didn't come from one of the villains.
Yeah, we don't know she's a villain yet, but like she is more or less saying what Ben Stein told him 15 minutes ago in movie runtime, and he just didn't listen to him because she wasn't a pretty redhead.
Right. 100%. But now he's listening, but just in time for the mob to show up because she's just like, thanks for the money. I don't want to lose my condo. Bye. Like, have fun.
Yeah.
But then as they go to kind of torture him, she's like, wait, you said you weren't going to hurt him. And I'm like, lady, it's the mob.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I lied. What are you going to do about it? Nothing? Great. See ya. Here's your $50K. Goodbye.
Meanwhile, they've now taken the mask and Dorian tries it on and just becomes eviler Dorian.
Yeah. He just becomes stupid Hulk.
Yeah. Mob Hulk.
Right.
Anyway, they drive him past his house. They get the money. So, and this is where Milo gets out. They like collect the money from his house. Milo gets out.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what are we supposed to do with him? And Dorian, actually pretty smart, is like, the cops are looking for the mask. Give them the mask. So they just drop Stanley literally on this, like out of the window onto Lieutenant Calloway.
Literally runs into him. Like that would have hurt.
Yes. Oh, yeah. With a rubber mask, just a green rubber mask that clearly does not look anything like what we've seen.
Right.
But the police accept it anyway.
Of course.
And they put him in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a narrative and it fit them.
Yeah.
But Milo shows up outside the jail cell.
He's a good boy. And Milo is a good boy.
Milo is a good boy and he waits for him there. But there's a visitor and it's Tina. And
Oh, yeah.
Tina's like, I'm about to get out of fucking town, but I actually, like, I knew it was you. I kind of felt it the whole time. And she's about to kiss him and doesn't, and is like, I gotta go.
Yeah, he gets
like,
cell blocked by the guard. Like they are about to kiss finally.
right.
But no, it doesn't happen. But this is where he explains how the mask works. Like it brings out your
Right.
most like id.
Right.
And so like for Dorian, because he's just like this macho douche, that's his stupid Hulk persona is a manifestation of that. But, you know, Jim Carrey is much more silly and softer, so it's different, you know. But once she fails to kiss him because they get cell blocked, she leaves, and then, you know, Milo and Stanley plan a like jailbreak.
Playing a jailbreak. I do love, though, when she's staying there, she's like, you're the person that treated me like a person, not a party favor. And I'm like, that's absolutely not what happened. But it's fun that you said that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she felt like he was treating her like a person for the literal 30 seconds they talked at the trash pile park.
Right.
But that's as much time as they spent together when he wasn't at work, ma'am.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Milo, Dog of Wonder, is able to kind of jump up through the window into the cell. Now, as she left, Dorian's goons picked her up, and he can hear it from the cell because the cell faces out into the alley.
Yeah.
Milo jumps up. He gets Milo to get the cheese. No, the keys, not the cheese.
I loved the cheese. I was like, all right, but let him eat the cheese. Like he did the hard work of getting it out. Like let him eat that cheese.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Give him the cheese.
And he's a rat terrier. There's nothing he wants more.
Love cheese.
Yeah.
But as Dorian and his goons are racing towards the Coco Bongo Club, he's like, there's going to be a big surprise tonight. And we reveal that there are explosives at her feet.
It is like 1880s cartoon dynamite, though. Like it's sticks of dynamite that you have to like light.
Right.
That they inexplicably have a timer on later.
Right. But also, as an adult, his plan is flawed. I don't like his plan. Because his plan is basically just let the world burn. And I'm like, bro, you could have quietly killed Nico. There's so much money here that you could steal and then just escape to wherever you want to go without exploding your girlfriend and a club that if you killed Nico, you could have kept running.
You would have taken over. And it's a nice club. Everyone loves it.
It's a nice club.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it there. Like, his plan makes no sense, but regardless.
That's why I called him Stupid Hulk, Paige. He sets the timer on the bomb for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Like an idiot. Like, I realize they have stuff left to do, but like set the bomb timer for like 2 or 3 minutes and then wait till you're leaving and then set the bomb.
Right.
Like, it's insane that he's like, I'm going to go ahead and set the bomb. I realize we got like 9 or 10.
And then we'll do everything else we need to do.
Yeah, we got like 9 or 10 minutes left to work. I'll set it for 10 minutes. Don't run long. Like, that's insane. Anyway, he's dumb. We know this.
It's dumb. But once the dog gets the keys, Stanley gets out, the guard is still asleep, Calloway comes in, and he uses the handcuffs to basically handcuff himself.
He actually steals the gun off the cop that's asleep. The cop wakes up, and then he knocks him out with the gun, the butt of the gun, right?
Right.
So he was awake for like 3 seconds.
Right.
And then Calloway comes in, and they like leave the police station together under the like guise of Calloway's transferring him somewhere else.
Right.
But they can't really tell that Jim Carrey's actually has a gun on him.
Right. He does try to communicate it in Pig Latin. Junior doesn't notice. They get into the car. They go to the Coco Bongo Club where the charity ball is in full swing. We follow briefly Richard Jenny, his friend from work, who's like, yeah, can I get a pack of cigarettes? And she's like, what kind? He's like, I don't smoke, but for you, I would shoot the Surgeon General. And then they just walk off the screen. And I love it.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
But there's an explosion, a small explosion, and all of the henchmen start shooting at the giant, like, Squid Games pig up in the top of the room that has all the money in it to make the money float down. Something that will take way more than 10 minutes to clean up and collect.
Right?
Because they're dumb.
Yeah.
Right? But they start firing, and everyone is still just kind of there. And they're like, all right, everyone, I'm your host for the evening. I'm like, who would stay? Like, everyone would be running away.
The reason everyone stayed at the party at Nakatomi Plaza was because they were guarding the elevators.
Right.
Like, they're on the other side. Like, everyone had free access to the front door. They could have run out the front door, and they don't.
Right.
They're just like, oh, damn. They just, like, shot bullets through most of that money.
Yeah. Well, and...
They just Swiss cheese the money.
Okay, this is what's even crazier. Because, like, Calloway and Stanley show up and with Milo in the car, and Stanley's like, stay here, call for backup, I'll be back out. And then he goes through what? The front door. He's able to just walk into the club.
Yeah.
No one thinks that's weird at all.
Where's the bouncer? Like, what are we doing, guys?
What are we doing? But as he's trying to get in and crawl around to try and get to a place to help her, they find him, and they're now basically going to try and kill Stanley as well. But Milo the dog gets out. Now, as they're about to shoot Stanley, they have also already tied Cameron Diaz to one of the fake palm trees with the explosives on her foot. And she's like, I just want one last kiss from Dorian, not the mask.
Yeah, not Dorian Green, but Dorian,
Right.
the normal gangster guy.
Terrell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he pulls the mask off. As they're kissing, she frees her foot and kicks the mask through the air, ostensibly hoping that Stanley will catch it.
Interesting. You thought that she did this on purpose? I thought that Dorian was just such a good kisser, it caused her leg pop to go so hard in the wrong direction, she kicked that further than most field goals.
I mean, he do got them puffy lips,
I mean, yeah.
right? But it flies over a bunch of people's hands, ultimately being caught by who? The dog.
Because that dog loves a Frisbee. It's been a runner in the movie.
It has. But now, hand-to-hand combat is broken out. Stanley is punching Dorian. Dorian's beating the shit out of him. And this is where we get the, I hope you can enjoy the victory with one friggin' eye, where he just like pokes him in the eye.
It's a real like Three Stooges like fight move, but it works because Jim Carrey does get the open hand and he's just like beating the shit out of him. And he's like, oh my God, am I winning? And then he starts to lose again because he was like so surprised he was winning. I loved that moment. But eventually, Milo learns the truth of the mask.
Right. Milo puts the mask on just for a couple minutes, and I actually do kind of love it.
Me too.
Because Milo's mask persona is so bonkers, because he's like, I'm a big scary dog, but then he'll smile with like goofy, like pokey eyes, be like, and you're like, what is it? I don't know. Shoot it.
I love when they're taking the mask off him, his eyes like bug out.
Yeah, like,
It makes me laugh so much. It's such a stupid joke, but it makes me laugh.
But Milo comes to Stanley, he pulls the mask off, and then Stanley jumps behind the bar, puts the mask on.
Well, as they're shooting it,
yes.
And that's when he jumps out, it's like, did you miss me? And then he takes that drink and all the liquid goes out. It's so dumb. I love it.
Guess not. But he pulls out all of these guns, and he's like, do you feel lucky? And they're like, no. They run away, even though all the guns are just like the little flags that say bang. But he runs over, grabs the dynamite, swallows it. That's a spicy meatball.
So dumb.
So dumb.
I love it.
Love it. But at this point, he paints a toilet flusher handle and flushes Dorian down the pond.
Yeah, because it's like a water feature next to the palm tree she's strapped to that he just ate the dynamite off of.
Right.
And so he gets flushed down that. I don't know. It's dumb, but I love it.
It's dumb, but I love it. But I do love that as he gets flushed, a switchblade pops up out of and then falls back down the drain.
And it makes the sound effect like, yeah.
But he then pulls off the mask, kisses her, and they all are kind of like now exiting because the cops have arrived, and the cops are still trying to arrest him, Stanley, for being the mask, which he was. Remember, he robbed a bank, has murdered a couple people.
At least.
At least. But instead, the mayor who was in the charity ball is like, he wasn't the mask. Dorian Terrell was the mask. I saw it with my own eyes. So essentially, the now missing Dorian is going to get blamed for everything the mask did.
I mean, they're going to pull him out of the plumbing at some point. Like,
at some point.
Yeah, like he's dead. He's just like halfway in a tube somewhere.
I like to think it's like the end of Violent Night, where he gets pulled through a tube and just turns into pink mist.
I hope not for Stanley's like
plumbing. Yeah.
Well, not for his plumbing. That's a club. I don't care about the plumbing of the club. But like, he needs Dorian to be alive and the mask, or he's fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, or he needs like his body with the mask on it, you know. But instead, we see him and Tina and his friend from the bank drive across the bridge, stop, and then go to throw the mask out into the water. He and Cameron Diaz have this kind of fun moment where she's like, I don't need you to be the mask. I just need to know where that fucking money is, Stanley.
I mean, she doesn't say that, but she wants to know where that money is. Although he doesn't have it anymore, unfortunately. So
he doesn't have it. But his friend and the dog both jump over to try and swim out to get the mask.
And Milo gets it. And that's the movie. So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what did you think about The Mask?
It's a classic. Yeah. I still like it. It's fun.
It is pretty solid. Like, I hate that I still love this type of humor so much, but it is just stupid, fun kind of humor. And I regret not having watched it much in the past, 20 years, honestly.
Right?
Because it's better than that. I mean, there are some things that don't hold up great, but it's a good movie. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it. But Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, here it is with your fun facts. The mask.
Fun facts. The oversized teeth on the mask were supposed to only be used during silent scenes, and they actually come from the comics. If you look at the drawings of the mask in the comics, it has the comically oversized teeth. But Jim Carrey learned to talk while wearing them, and so that's why you get sometimes that whistle tone as he's talking with the giant teeth.
Yeah.
So Jim Carrey was also actually responsible for them saving a ton of budget money in this movie.
Really?
Yes. His body movements were so flexible and cartoonish, they actually didn't need to do nearly as much digital enhancement as they thought they would.
That's awesome. I mean, they did tons still, I'm sure. I mean, this is, believe it or not, an Oscar-nominated movie for that. So, yeah, but he is very good at that kind of stuff, so I'm not super surprised, but that's awesome.
Yep. Now, the producers of this movie hated the Cuban Pete musical number and wanted to cut it out of the movie entirely.
Disagree.
Same. They thought it was too long, not funny, and dragged, but test audiences loved it so much they had to keep it in. Now, if you ask any kid our age what they remember about this movie, Cuban Pete, 100% one of those scenes. If you go to YouTube and just type in The Mask, that's going to be one of the first scenes that comes up.
Yeah.
It's wild that such an iconic scene was so disliked by the producers of the movie, but it stayed in. So it becomes part of film history.
I mean, I do dig it.
Yep. The banana yellow suit that Jim Carrey wears is actually based on a suit his mother made for him for the first time he tried stand-up comedy.
Oh, I love that.
Also, he allegedly improvised the line, "Sorry, wrong pocket," when he pulled out the used condom. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The role was actually written with Jim Carrey in mind. Chuck Russell, who directed this movie, gave the script to him and said, basically told him, and Jim Carrey said, "I feel like this was written for me." And they basically were like, "Yeah, you're probably the only person that could do this."
Yeah.
Susan Boyd dubbed Cameron Diaz's singing voice. Not the Susan Boyd. I was thinking of Susan Boyle, but no, Susan Boyd, who is a vocal artist who actually has done a number of voices. She does a lot of video game, like Star Wars Old Republic or Dragon Age or Titan Quest.
I have played all of those games. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Avatar, The Last Airbender, God of War, you name it. You have probably heard her voice if you're a gamer.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz had to audition 12 different times for the part of Tina, only landing the role 7 days before shooting began.
Jesus.
They were apprehensive about casting her because it would have been her first acting role.
I mean, she did have kind of breakout stardom after this movie, though, so clearly it was the right call. Oh, and it also made a ton of money, so clearly it was the right call, but yeah.
Yep. The mask makeup took 4 hours to apply.
That's believable. Yeah.
Yep. When the police are searching the mask's pants with all the big items that they pull out of his pocket, they had the pants cut off at the knees with prop guys handing items through the bottom. So most of that is actually an in-camera effect.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Now, in the comic book, the Dark Horse comic book of the same name, there were oftentimes dark horror stories about how the mask would murder people, but with cartoon antics. The script, according to Chuck Russell, started off very much in that tone before they kind of envisioned Jim Carrey as the lead, and then it took a much more comedic bent. It was also Jim Carrey's idea to have the mask blow a smoke heart and snort an arrow through it. Very fun.
Very funny, yeah.
Now, you might be wondering, since Cameron Diaz had to audition 12 times, who else could they have potentially been considering for the role? And they actually had almost completed casting. That's why this was literally up to 7 days before the shoot. Anna Nicole Smith was going to play Cameron Diaz's role, but ultimately they gave it to Cameron Diaz, and I do think that is the better choice.
Sure. Yeah, she became a very famous star after this.
Yeah. Now, this, we did say, is part of the golden age of Jim Carrey's kind of 90s career. However, it was one of the earlier ones as far as when they shot it. So he was only paid $450,000. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but take out taxes, take out management, take out any number of things. That is actually shockingly close to a regular person's salary for a regular person job.
Especially when you hear how much this movie made. But yes, please continue.
Yes. At the time, that was a huge bargain for New Line Cinema because he signed the deal before Ace Ventura: Pet Detective came out.
Okay.
And because that came out first, The Mask became a hot follow-up property for the same summer release schedule. So they made a ton of money off this movie, which didn't cost them nearly as much to make. However, Jim Carrey then turned around. Before this film officially opened, there was a lot of buzz about it. And when he signed his Dumb and Dumber contract, he signed for $7 million as opposed to $450.
Yeah. Fun fact, I think Jamie Kennedy was paid around $2 million for Son of the Mask.
Well, I have some fun facts about that too, because we're probably not going to watch it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've actually never seen Son of the Mask.
I've never been able to sit through the whole thing. It is horrendously bad. It is like reviled. There were plans for a different Mask sequel that was not Son of the Mask.
Yeah, I always heard that Jim Carrey turned down like $10 million in
Yes.
like 90 or like mid 90s money to do a sequel. And I'm sure that movie would have made way more money than Son of the Mask.
Yes, it was canceled after Jim Carrey declined to reprise the role, but they were so far down the line planning it. There was even a contest in Nintendo Power Magazine where the first prize was a walk-on role in that movie.
Oh, wow.
And in their final issue, they had to issue an apology to the winner of the contest because the movie never happened, so they could not deliver the prize.
Interesting. Yeah.
Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz did the majority of their own dancing in their dance scene. However, doubles were used for more advanced move. Usually when we see them dancing from an overhead angle, it is doubles.
Also the lifts. It's very clear some of the lifts are not Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz, but
yes,
that's understandable, even from like an insurance perspective.
100%.
You can get hurt doing that, you know?
Yes. I'll end on this just because there's a lot of fun facts around this online that you can find. There's a million of them, but I'm actually really kind of interested in the difference between the comic book and the movie, just because a lot of people don't think of this as a comic book movie, and it really is. So in the original comic book series, because it was adult oriented and centered on the mask turning whoever wears it into a psychopath killer known as Big Head, who slays his victim in gruesome fashion for futile reasons, it's not just Stanley. It's whoever touches it, and it is a specific killer, not just whatever your personal vibes are. I do think that's a notable, interesting change for the movie.
Yeah.
Where it then amplifies whatever you are. I think that's better storytelling wise.
I think it's way cooler than just like a mask that makes you crazy. You know, like that would be like if you want to continue the Jason mythology after Jason Voorhees dies, like the mask is haunted. If you put the mask on, you embody Jason and kill people.
Yes.
Like that's what that sounds like to me.
It is. I am also still interested in it, especially given the wild artwork and stuff that I've now seen as I've kind of been looking into it.
Oh, yeah?
But I just think that's a really interesting and notable difference, and those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts, Paige. Let's talk a little bit about box office. But before we do, I have to say this, because I'm not 100% sure if this is accurate, but I'm pretty sure the bank they shot the bank scenes at is also the same bank Robert Redford and Whistler are trying to break into in the movie Sneakers, which is a movie I like way more than I should. But I can't confirm that. I was looking for that online and couldn't find it. So if you nerds know, let me know. Like, I
thought it was the back lot because like a lot of parts of Edge City are one of the back lots in town.
This is specifically the interiors at the bank. Like it just looks like the same bank. Specifically where Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz are talking, like in the like overlook that looks down on the floor where he works. In that scene, it's like the same bank. Anyway, let's talk about box office though. So what do you think the production budget was for this movie in 1994, Paige?
Ooh, 1994 with at that point, largely not unknown Jim Carrey, but not the fame that he would eventually attain Jim Carrey.
Right.
I'm going to say they spent about $12 million on this.
Paige, that's a great answer. It was actually $18 million, but very close, which if you adjust for inflation is roughly $39.1 million today.
Okay.
Now, this movie came out on July 29th, 1994, and it premiered at number 1. It was number 1 that weekend. It beat Forrest Gump that had been out for 4 weeks and was still number 2. Number 3, True Lies. I mentioned it earlier. That's why Tom Arnold's not Tom Arnold in this movie. That was number 3. The Client was number 4, and then The Lion King page was number 5. This was The Lion King's 7th week. And it was still in the top 5. Anyway, also in the theaters, Angels in the Outfield and Speed. Paige, what do you think Mask brought in its opening weekend?
Ooh, and you said it was number 4?
No, it was number 1.
Number 1. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Forrest Gump couldn't outrun it.
Couldn't outrun it. I'm going to say at number 1 that weekend, it probably made at least 15 million.
Yeah, it did. It made at least 15 million and then a few more because it brought in $23.1 million.
Nice.
Forrest Gump in its 4th week, it had been out for a month, Paige, and it brought in $18.2 million that weekend.
Ooh.
Good for Forrest Gump. I mean, Forrest Gump went on to make, I don't know, enough money that would make Solomon blush. But The Mask was in theaters for a while as well. So, Paige, it was number 1 its first week, and number 2 its second week, and number 3 its third week. That's easy to remember, but just because they wanted to F with us, in its 4th week, it was still number 3rd. And then for its 5th and 6th week, 4th, it didn't drop out of the top 5 until its 9th week.
Dang.
It was top 5 for its first 9 weeks. It was in theaters for a total of 28 weeks, Paige.
Yeesh.
So what do you think it made domestically in the box office, just domestically in the box office?
I'm going to say 96 million.
Paige, it made $120.1 million. But it also made a little bit internationally. Let me look this up here. Let me put my glasses on. Yeah, it's $231.7 million internationally for a total of $351 million, Paige, in 94. So $351 million in 94 would roughly be $762 million today, which is insane. Just to close the loop on how much money would make Solomon blush, Forrest Gump brought in $679 million at the time in 94. So yeah, that made a lot of money. So that's your box office, at least for the Mask. I did want to say this. The production budget for Son of the Mask was $100 million. It brought in 17 domestically.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, it brought in not even quite the budget for the first movie. Thank God the international market kicked that worldwide haul to almost 60 million for Son of the Mask. They still lost at least $40 million before marketing, which is a heartbreaking thing to realize. But that's your box office page. You want to hit us with that romance scale?
Sure, our romance scale is a scale of how romantic we found the film today, Todd.
It's a 1. They're barely together.
Yeah, it's a 1, and I do still think she's going for that money.
I definitely think they're going back to his apartment to have the best sex he will ever have.
Correct.
And then once she cases the joint, realizes the money's not there, her and Milo are hitting the road.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Paige, this week, and I'm so excited for this as I remembered what it was halfway through this episode, but this week you made us watch The Mask. What are we watching next week as we finish out movies that should have been like cartoons, I think, month?
I had a real dark idea last week as I was pitching this movie, and that is we're doing Howard the Duck.
Yeah, we are. Howard the Duck, baby. You want to hear something fun? I've never seen this movie.
Me neither.
Can't
Not all
wait.
the way through. I've seen clips, but
I've not seen, I've seen like GIFs. I've never seen even clips. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be an interesting experience from what I've heard about the movie. But that's your homework for next week, guys. Watch the first ever comic book movie to be made, Howard the Duck, and then report back for that episode next week.
I think it's just the first Marvel because I think Superman predates it.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah, you're right. It's the first Marvel movie. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, but excited to do it. So, do you have any reviews for us, Todd?
I do. This week, I'm going to read one of our most recent comments, and that came in on our When Harry Met Sally episode. And this one's from Maddie, and they say, by the way, I can confirm the driving with random people back from college is still a thing as of 2014 to 2017.
Okay.
I gave rides to a ton of people I never talked to at school before just because they needed to get where I was going. I had a car and we had a mutual friend that could vouch for them.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Maddie, thank you for confirming that that is still a thing. And if you want to have me read your Spotify comment or 5-star Apple review, leave us one of those things, then I'll do just that. So yeah, if you guys like this show and want to hear our other show where we talk about horror movies, that is The Horror Virgin. That's the only other podcast I am on, but Paige is also on Cult Podcast, which you can find at Cult Podcast. And you can find us on social media. I am at Todd J. Awesome, literally everywhere. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Instagram.
No, it's at Rampage Wesley on Instagram and TikTok, at Paige Wesley on Twitter.
That's right. All right. So that's where you can find Paige. If you want to find the show, we are at Romancing the Pod Show, right?
Yep, Romancing Pod Show on Twitter.
Well, and Instagram, right?
And Instagram, but it's show SHO because character limits. If you start typing Romancing the Pod, it'll come up.
It'll definitely come up on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter because I haven't posted on Twitter in a hot ass minute. So who knows? But that is where you can find more of us. So yeah, guys, give us a follow. Support the show any way you can. We'd love it.
Smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
To zoot-suit pletion. Bye. The music in this movie kind of slaps nerds.